Positioned strategically about 150 kilometers south of Florida's Key West and 200 kilometers east of Mexico's Cancun, a substantial island nation acts as a natural barrier between the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. This island, Cuba, serves as the anchor for the extensive 3,500-kilometer Antilles Island chain. As the largest member of this archipelago and the 17th largest island globally, Cuba possesses a rich history often overshadowed by its political figures. However, beyond the headlines lies a land of breathtaking natural beauty. Pristine white sand beaches, dramatic limestone hills known as mogotes, lush tropical rainforests, and unique cactus savannas that rarely capture the global spotlight. This documentary embarks on an exploration of Cuba's varied terrain, delving into its scattered mountain ranges, the 6 distinct eco-regions shaping its rolling hills and fertile plains, and the intricate network of keys, mangrove forests, and coral reefs encircling the main island. Cuba's striking geographical variety presents a compelling study in contrasts, showcasing arid, desert-like zones alongside verdant tropical ecosystems, all developed in relative isolation over millions of years within a surprisingly compact territory. Chapter 1. The island's mountainous spine. A superficial glance might suggest Cuba is merely a flat expanse situated between two major bodies of water, but the seemingly monotonous plains of its central region conceal a more complex topography. With a geological history stretching back over 250 million years, Cuba's landscape wasn't primarily sculpted by recent tectonic shifts. Instead, several enduring mountain ranges bear witness to the immense geological forces that have shaped the island over eons. 4 distinct, isolated mountain systems rise above the predominantly flat and fertile lowlands, fragmenting Cuba's otherwise uniform biological environment into a diverse tapestry of tropical landscapes. This geographical complexity fosters a high degree of endemism, nurturing unique species of plants and animals found nowhere else. These ancient highlands have withstood countless hurricanes, relentless erosion, and the slow passage of geological time, contributing significantly to the Cuba we observe today. The most extensive of these mountainous regions is the Naip-Sagua-Baracoa complex, dominating the island's eastern extremity just north of the well-known Guantanamo Bay. These 3 interconnected ranges act as a barrier, intercepting moisture-laden air flowing from the Atlantic Ocean. As clouds encounter these slopes, they release their moisture, particularly on the northeastern faces. Receiving up to 2,700 millimeters of rainfall annually, this area ranks among the wettest in Central America. Despite relatively thin soils, this abundant precipitation supports a thriving tropical rainforest, creating a significant biodiversity hotspot that continues to attract scientific research and interest. Pico Cristal, the zenith of the Naip-Sagua-Baracoa range, reaches an altitude of 1,300 meters. However, it is overshadowed by its southern counterpart, the formidable Sierra Maestra. This range extends for 140 kilometers along Cuba's southeastern coast and features Pico Turquino, which, at 1,970 meters, is not only Cuba's highest point, but also one of the loftiest peaks in the entire Greater Antilles. Appearing as a rainforest-clad sentinel overlooking the Caribbean Sea, Pico Turquino holds the unique distinction of being the only location in Cuba where snowfall has ever been officially documented, a rare tropical anomaly recorded during the winter of 1900. The mountain's distinct microclimate fosters conditions unlike any other part of the island, nurturing specialized plant communities adapted to its cooler, mist-shrouded elevations. The slopes surrounding Pico Turquino have been prime coffee-growing territory since the mid-1600s. Introduced by Spanish and French settlers, coffee cultivation persists today, with the Sierra Maestra accounting for a remarkable 92% of Cuba's total coffee production. Each of Cuba's mountain ranges seems particularly suited for specific crops. The Central Escambray Mountains, for instance, were historically dominated by sugarcane cultivation, with their southern slopes once forming the epicenter of the global sugar trade. This industry's dark legacy, built upon the forced labor of approximately 30,000 enslaved people, has largely faded, leaving behind terraced fields and ruined sugar mills. These remnants are now part of a large UNESCO World Heritage Site, serving as a poignant reminder of this historical period and attracting visitors interested in its complex past. Towards Cuba's western end, another traditional agricultural industry thrives, centered around tobacco. International aficionados prize the tobacco grown here, attributing its exceptional quality to a perfect confluence of rainfall, sunlight, and temperature, combined with soil naturally rich in nitrates, calcium, and manganese. The renowned Vegas de Vuelta Abajo region yields the premium leaves used in Cuba's world-famous cigars, produced using time-honored cultivation methods passed down through generations. Between these widely separated mountain ranges lie flat, fertile valleys that support the bulk of Cuba's diverse agriculture. Yet, even amidst significant human modification of the landscape, several unique and contrasting natural regions endure. Chapter 2: A Mosaic of Eco Regions. Applying the widely used Köppen climate classification system reveals that most of Cuba falls under the tropical savanna category. Only the coastal zones sheltered behind the mountains in the northeast and west qualify as tropical rainforest climates. However, this broad classification belies the true ecological richness of the island, which hosts a surprising variety of distinct ecoregions. Cuba's intricate topography, variable rainfall distribution, and long geological history have converged to create a complex mosaic of habitats. This environmental diversity supports an impressive array of plant and animal life, including numerous species unique to the island. The four major mountain ranges previously discussed are predominantly cloaked in variations of Cuban moist forests, dry forests, and pine forests. Each forest type possesses unique characteristics determined by factors like soil fertility, moisture retention, the presence of distinct wet and dry seasons, and the dominant tree species, whether broadleaf or deciduous. These upland forests serve as refuges for countless endemic species that evolved in isolation, shielded by the geographical barriers of mountains and surrounding seas. As one moves towards the coast, more unusual ecoregions begin to appear. The southern coastline, lying in the rain shadow of the Naip-Sagua-Baracoa Mountains, presents an almost otherworldly landscape. This rain shadow effect induces extreme aridity, making it the driest part of Cuba and giving rise to the distinctive Cuban cactus scrub ecoregion. Here, succulent plants, adapted to store significant amounts of water, dominate the sparse, skeletal limestone soils. Despite receiving less than 800 millimeters of rain annually and enduring dry spells lasting 9 to 11 months, these hardy plants form the foundation of a remarkable ecosystem. Species like the Cuban rock iguana, the tiny pygmy earlooth frog, and various flower bats have adapted to survive in this challenging environment. However, economic pressures pose a threat, with native thorny scrub gradually being replaced by sisal plantations cultivated for rope fiber. Conservation initiatives are crucial to protect these unique desert-like habitats, which are among the island's most vulnerable ecosystems despite their apparent toughness. Traveling further west along the coast, the environment shifts dramatically towards abundant moisture, creating a stark biological contrast to the arid cactus scrub. Near the historic Bay of Pigs, the immense Zapata Swamp begins, stretching over 100 kilometers. This is the largest and most significant example of the Cuban wetland ecoregion, covering 4% of the nation's territory. This vast wetland complex encompasses caves, sinkholes, cenotes, depressions, and floodplains, forming an intricate hydrological network of marshes, freshwater lagoons, and transitional zones bordering the Caribbean Sea. The daily rhythm of the tides injects life into the system, pushing water through the swamp, while seasonal floods inundate the adjacent savanna, triggering mass migrations of hundreds of thousands of birds. Recognizing its global ecological importance, the Zapata Peninsula was designated a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 2000. The swamp's aquatic and semi-aquatic environments support a rich fauna, including sharks, crocodiles, and manatees that thrive on the plentiful fish and vegetation, Among the dense foliage flits one of the world's avian wonders, the bee hummingbird. Weighing a mere 1.6 grams and capable of flapping its wings up to 80 times per second, this miniature marvel darts between flowers, playing a vital role as a pollinator and embodying the unique adaptations found in Cuba's diverse habitats. Much of the remaining Cuban coastline is fringed by the island's sixth major ecoregion, mangrove forests. These vital ecosystems cover 5.1% of Cuba's land area, represent 20% of its remaining forests, and shield over half its coastline from natural hazards. The southern coast, especially vulnerable to hurricanes and storm surges, benefits immensely from the dense, kilometer-deep network of mangrove roots that anchor the shoreline. Mangroves serve not only as crucial coastal defenses during storms, but also play a key role in maintaining the region's ecological balance. Their intricate root systems trap sediments carried by receding tides, counteracting coastal erosion and helping the seabed adjust to rising global sea levels. Furthermore, these coastal forests act as critical nurseries for a vast array of marine species, including commercially valuable fish that underpin local economies. As vital havens for biodiversity, mangroves are among Cuba's most protected habitats, flourishing not only along extensive stretches of the main island's coast, but also on many of the surrounding keys and islets. Indeed, while often perceived as a single landmass, Cuba is actually the heart of a vast archipelago comprising thousands of smaller islands. Chapter 3: The Expansive Archipelago. Cuba's national territory encompasses an astonishing 4,195 islands in total. These are primarily clustered into four major archipelagos situated in the shallow waters off the northern and southern coasts. The largest of these, the Sabana-Camagüey Archipelago, lies along the central northern coast, containing around 2,500 islands spread over 450 kilometers. In recent decades, many of the larger islands in this group have been linked by extensive causeways, facilitating the growth of luxury beach resorts on their picturesque sandy shores. This development has brought economic benefits but also significant environmental challenges, forcing Cuba to navigate the complex balance between tourism growth and ecological preservation. The eastern and western extremities of the Sabana-Camagüey Archipelago, however, remain largely undeveloped, preserving extensive mangrove forests and wetlands. Geologically, these outer islands are much younger than mainland Cuba, often consisting of little more than accumulated sand resting on ancient foundations. Their very existence is a legacy of vast coral reef systems that flourished around 130,000 years ago when sea levels were considerably higher. As these ancient reefs died, their skeletal structures trapped sediments carried by ocean currents. Subsequent drops in sea level, amounting to roughly 25 meters, exposed these accumulations, forming the keys we see today. The geological record embedded within these islands offers scientists valuable clues about past climate fluctuations. Ironically, these keys are now threatened by the same natural forces that created them. Erosion by wind and waves constantly removes sand, while rising sea levels pose the risk of inundation. The protective mangrove belts help mitigate these threats, but the long-term resilience of these low-lying islands remains uncertain. South of the main island lies another significant archipelago, the Jardins de la Reina, Queen's Gardens, named by Christopher Columbus. Often dubbed the Galapagos of the Caribbean, this island group showcases some of Cuba's most untouched underwater ecosystems. Its vibrant coral reefs are teeming with marine life, including large groupers, various reef sharks, and American crocodiles, making it a magnet for divers and snorkelers worldwide. The entire archipelago is designated as a national park and marine reserve, with no permanent human settlements. Strict regulations govern tourism and fishing activities to ensure the long-term preservation of this pristine environment. Notably, a complete ban on fishing within the park boundaries was implemented in recent decades. This bold conservation measure has allowed the marine ecosystem to recover dramatically, transforming the area into a prolific fish spawning ground. This success benefits not only the park's biodiversity but also the surrounding fishing industry, as fish populations spill over into adjacent waters. The dramatic increase in fish catches in nearby deeper waters following the ban highlights the effectiveness of well-managed marine protected areas. Approximately 180 kilometers west of the Queen's Gardens lies the Mosaic Archipelago, which curves for 300 kilometers around the Zapata swamp region. Among the 350 islands comprising this archipelago is Cuba's second-largest island, Isla de la Juventud, Isle of Youth. Renamed by Fidel Castro, it was previously known as Isla de Pinos, Isle of Pines, a name that accurately reflects its dominant vegetation today. The island's northern section features low-lying ridges almost entirely covered in Caribbean pine forests. In contrast, the southern plains host another vast swamp, ecologically similar to the mainland's Zapata swamp, containing a complex hydrological system and providing critical habitat for hundreds of thousands of migratory birds. In summary, Cuba presents an extraordinary spectrum of geographical diversity packed within its relatively narrow latitudinal range. Its landscapes encompass mist-laden mountains, stunning beaches, fertile agricultural plains and slopes, and some of the planet's most fascinating and well-preserved wetland ecosystems. From the towering heights of the Sierra Maestra to the intricate beauty of its underwater coral gardens, the island nation stands as a remarkable natural laboratory. Here, the interplay of evolution, geology, and climate over millions of years has forged unique environments and fostered exceptional biodiversity. As the looming threat of climate change endangers many of these fragile ecosystems, conservation efforts become increasingly vital to safeguard Cuba's invaluable natural heritage for future generations. We hope this journey through Cuba's geography has been enlightening. To stay informed about future explorations, please subscribe to our channel.